Whew. So today we are going to cover the anxiety attack versus a panic attack. Both start out a little similar. They can feel similar, but distinguishing between them is going to make a lot of difference in how you handle them. Um, if you are near somebody having one, you can actually be super helpful in helping them calm down. Um, I have had the very unfortunate, very embarrassing experience of having a panic attack in front of random people. I've had panic attacks in the car just because. This happened while we were in a parking lot about to go for dinner. This happened pulling out of a Best Buy parking lot just because. Um, this happened with my boyfriend's mom on the way to a hike. Just all of a sudden, I asked her to pull over and I just lost my shit. Like, literally, I just fucking lost it. So, an anxiety attack has a reason. Reasons could be you're stressed out over an upcoming test, you are about to give a public speech in front of anybody, maybe you're about to go for a job interview. Like, there is a reason for you to be anxious. You can feel your heart racing, you might be short of breath, you might be feeling nervous or fearful. However, as soon as your stressor, as soon as your reason is over, as soon as your reason is gone, so is your anxiety. So it's short-lived. It probably only ever really lasts about half an hour on the long end. And as soon as the task is done, it's like, whew, sigh of relief, you're good to go, over and done with. That wasn't so bad, right? During an anxiety attack, you don't really need anything to sort of calm you down other than literally positive thoughts. Breathing, keep calm, tell yourself it's going to be fine. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be fine. You're either going to speak in front of the crowd and enunciate, or you're going to mumble. I mean, it's two ways it's going to go. You're going to be fine either way. A panic attack is completely different. There is no reason for a panic attack. Basically, what happens is your brain, our brains, seriously love to fuck with us. So basically what happens is your brain decides to send your body just a random shot of adrenaline. Just, like, hey, this would be a really nice time to fuck up your shit. So it just sends you a random jolt of adrenaline. And because it's doing that, now your body, the rest of your body, is wondering, okay, something's going down. I've got all this adrenaline. What is happening? So then your other side of your brain is like, okay, what's going on? Something's going on. I got this adrenaline. Come on, let's start going through our mind. What's going on right now? Well, it could be this scenario. Nope, that's not it. Could be this. Nope, that's not it. And this just keeps going on and on. So now you're actually ramping yourself up. You're going through all these scenarios, all these plausible scenarios that aren't happening. So now you're going to start going through all these not so likely scenarios that still aren't happening. So you're ramping yourself up more and more. And the more you do this, the more you're actually feeding into your own panic attack. And the more you feed into your own panic attack, the less logical the scenarios that you're looking for are going to become. So you're going from, let's pretend you're driving in a car, or your boyfriend's driving you in a car, or whatever. So you start off, well, is there a pedestrian in the road that, we had to swerve to miss? No. So that was plausible. Was there a car that, was maybe too close to us? No. Okay, still plausible. So let's try something a little less plausible. Was there a bird that almost hit our windshield? I mean, usually birds aren't so stupid. No, no bird. Okay. Let's do something a little less plausible. Did something fall out of the sky and almost hit us? No. And then you're just going to keep going less and less plausible. But your brain is going to go through this so fast, you're not actually going to be able to catch that these ideas are becoming literally stupider and stupider. You're just going to keep going with it. And so because your body just decides to send you a random shot of adrenaline, this is completely unpredictable. It can come on while you're sitting at a restaurant. You can take a bite of your burger and bam, all of a sudden you're having a panic attack. Just because, you know, your body wants to fuck with you. Just because it can. It's there. I mean, why not? What else are you going to do on a Wednesday night? Individuals that experience this, they can feel literally like they're having a heart attack. They can have chest pain, shortness of breath, dizziness, nausea. For me personally, I always throw up in my mouth. It is the most disgusting thing. And if I haven't had a chance to eat, like if this happens in the morning, it is just even grosser. I would much rather throw up chunks of cereal than chunks of bile, or like teaspoons of bile. Like, for me, I always end up crying it out. I guess for me, that's just the best way that I release all my extra energy that my body has decided I randomly need for no fucking reason. Yeah, it sucks. Especially when, you know, girls are gonna know this. When your makeup is on fucking point and all of a sudden you have a panic attack and the only way your body knows to get rid of it is just by bawling your fucking eyes out for half an hour. And then, like, you know how hard it is to do wings, especially when you get them even on both sides. That is torture. There are days where my boyfriend has to do this for me because I just can't. Like, it's torture. There are also things called anticipatory anxiety. So this one is actually self-induced. This is caused by worrying too much about when the next attack is going to happen. So that's super fun. Because, you know, having the panic attacks, that's not enough. You can actually give yourself an anxiety attack by waiting and wondering when the next attack is going to happen. So that's great. That's awesome. That's definitely something that we need. Something that people will do if they have panic attacks, they'll actually start avoiding places where the panic attacks have happened. For example, one of my panic attacks have happened at a sushi restaurant here in town. I haven't been back. It was very embarrassing. I loved their sushi there. Oh my God, it was amazing. And I like white girl sushi. So I don't eat the raw fish. I like the noodles, California rolls, the tempura, you know. And not everywhere does it right, at least to my white girl standards. So yeah, it's a little shameful that I haven't been back there, but the last time I was there, I had a panic attack, and I don't want to go there again. I don't want to. Last time I was there, I didn't have a great time. I don't need to repeat that. But the good news is panic attacks are 100% treatable. If you have them chronically, just talk to your doctor. He can probably figure something out for you. An anxiety disorder affects about 1 in 4 adults in the US. So again, that's 1 in 4. That's the magic ratio of mental illness in our very large, very not talked about demographic. 1 in 4. So again, if you're a family of 5, you got 1. If you're a family of 4 and all 3 of your family members seem normal, well, guess what? You're the one. If you've got a family of 4 and everybody seems happy except for your angsty teenager, you should probably ease up on your angsty teenager, because it's probably not just angst. An anxiety disorder is considered an anxiety disorder if it is chronic and impacts your daily function. 40 million plus Americans have an anxiety disorder. So this is why it's so important to talk about this shit, because so many people feel alone. So many people feel like they are the only ones suffering. So many people feel isolated. 40 fucking million plus. Over 40 million people just in America have an anxiety disorder. Yet people feel so fucking lonely. Do you know why? It's because nobody talks about it. We can talk about sex, we can talk about religion, we can talk about money, we can put penises in our mouths, we can put Tide Pods in our mouths, we can lick each other's assholes these days, but we can't talk about anxiety, we can't talk about depression, we can't talk about mental health at all? That's bullshit. That is straight up bullshit. That is what needs to change. If you can talk about all these other things that either are still considered taboo in some social groups or were at one point considered taboo, you can start talking about this. There's no way that this is not dinner conversation. And for the people, I think when people ask you, hey, how are you? It's such a knee-jerk response to say, I'm good, how are you? I think that needs to stop too. We all need to start being a little more honest. Hey, how's it going? Pretty shitty, actually. How about yourself? Really? How come? Like, we all need to do our part. Every one of us. Anxiety, panic attacks, things like this, like, people avoiding locations because of their previous attacks. I know it's wrong, and I clearly need to do something about that. But if everybody keeps avoiding places where an attack has occurred, nobody's ever going to leave their house. And if nobody ever leaves their house, we're all going to get depressed. And we're all going to end up killing ourselves because nobody's going to want to connect with anybody else. We need to step it up. We need to be each other's village. It takes a village. We need to be each other's village. I will say this until the day I die. The mental health system is too big to change. It is too big to make an impactful change for this generation. Maybe it'll change for the next generation. Hopefully it'll change for our grandchildren's generation. But it's not going to change for us. We need to be the change. We need to reach out to each other and be the change. Which actually brings me to my next point. So everybody remembers from my last video, my friend Chris. He has a friend who is interning at this website called 7cups.com. I did a little rooting around. It seems pretty solid to me. I'm definitely giving them a shout out. So I went on there. What it is, it's free. Basically, it's kind of like counseling, but it's all texting, which is great because personally, I don't want to talk on the phone to a fucking stranger. I think hearing a stranger's voice and trying to open up to somebody with their voice freaks me out. It's very invasive. It's very personal, and I don't want to do that. Also, it's a lot easier for me to lay my heart on the line if I can compose myself and take a minute and write it down and read it myself and make sure all my points are nice and neat, right? And then hit send and then relax or freak out about it until I get a reply, like whatever. But I also was reading, there's this whole fucking online community on this website of people that there's all these different types of message boards. So I went on the one about panic attacks, and I have about 4 tips that everybody else has put in. So the first tip on there, and this one was on there several times, so I wrote it down. These are what I thought were the best ways to get yourself through a panic attack. My first choice was grounding. What grounding is It's a way to sort of keep you in this moment. Instead of thinking about all the bad shit that might be happening, instead of letting your mind spiral back into that, plausible, not plausible, very not plausible, all those scenarios, keep yourself right here in this moment, in this chair, in this room. Keep yourself here. So what this one is, it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. So whatever your environment is, find those things from where you are. That's it. My number 2 choice was belly breathing. This is something my boyfriend gets me to do every single time I have a panic attack, and it works. What belly breathing does, instead of your chest moving up and down, you want your chest to stay perfectly still. You're going to breathe with your belly. Your belly is going to move up, your belly is going to move in. Your chest should stay still. This gives me something to focus on because I'm a winner, right? I want to win. I want my chest to stay still. I want my belly to move because that's what winners do. That's the task. I'm going to do it right. But what it also does subconsciously, it forces all your other muscles to relax. So it gives your brain something else to focus on, and all your muscles are going to slowly start to relax. You'll be fine. Something else that I think it was a woman that posted this was go with the flow. And this is something that I found actually really intriguing, is instead of trying to fight it, instead of sitting there and, it's okay, everything's fine. She said, like, even if you're at school, go to an empty bathroom stall, sit there and let yourself feel the panic. Let yourself be scared. Let yourself just go with it. Embrace these feelings and just tell yourself this isn't permanent. Let it run its course. Acknowledge it, respect it. This is just temporary. And I felt, when I was reading that, I kind of felt a little empowered by the idea. Because usually when you think of having a panic attack, you think of ending it as quick as you can. Like, what is going to get me out of this? But thinking of embracing it and letting it run its course and just kind of being at peace with the fact that this is happening and it'll be over when it's over, just made me feel like that was a brilliant idea. So shout out to that person. And then, of course, there's online forums and support groups and online therapy. If you can Google it, there are lots of online therapies actually that are coming out. A lot of them are text-based, which is fantastic because people are finally pulling their heads out of their asses and realizing that we're all broke. We can't really afford actual, like, proper therapy in an office. Also, we don't really have time to be going to an office, and we don't really like to talk with our face holes. We'd much rather text. So that's awesome. And again, I got all of that advice from the 7 Cups website. There was one more that I wanted to share. I'm a little hesitant to share it because I don't know how severe everybody else's get. But if they do get really severe to the point where you cannot calm down, one person said, if you are certain that this is a panic attack and not an anxiety attack, the best thing to do is just call 911. If you need meds to calm yourself down, and you know that for certain, and there's just no way in hell that you can calm yourself down or a friend can calm you down, get yourself to a hospital. That's point blank. You do what you gotta do. There's been times for sure that I have needed an ambulance to calm me down. I think what I had was an anxiety attack at the time, but for sure, there's no shame. I mean, you do what you got to do. Sometimes your body, your brain just turns on you because it's bored. Honestly, the brain is something we know so little about. That's the best explanation I got, just because it fucking wants to. Um, so yeah, that is my little video for today. And as always, I am open to suggestions for other videos, comments, questions. And if anybody else wants to do a little interview for a video, if you've got a mental health issue that you'd like to get out there for some education, I am more than willing to sit down and listen. That's all.